Hello? 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 If anybody's on, can you please comment if you can hear me or not? Okay. Can you hear me pretty good? Good. Okay. I've never not used my headphones before, so I apologize. I just wanted to make sure everybody could hear me good. Good. There might be a little bit of, I forgot my headphones at home, so there might be a little bit of background noise or whatever from time to time, but I'll talk loud and try to talk through it. So I appreciate everybody. As you're getting on here, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Also, make sure you guys comment tonight. Anything that you want to talk about, any questions you have, anything at all, let me know. Obviously, the more comments and the more likes that we get as we run this thing, the more people that are going to see it and the more people that are going to benefit from the fishing report itself. So that's really what we're trying to do here is help guys and gals catch more fish. So smash that thumbs up button. If you haven't liked my YouTube channel yet, Russell's Fishing Tech, you probably have if you're here, but if for whatever reason you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to that as well. I'd appreciate that. Has anybody been out fishing in the last week? If you have, comment below. Let me know when you went and how you did. Be curious to see that. Yeah, Washburn Sports. I saw that you caught some fish. That's good. You've been on Algoma and Sturgeon Bay. Nice to see that it's going that way. That good up that way already. Scott K says he was out today, 12 for 18 all coals, starting to slow down in Milwaukee. Yeah, still a lot of coals around, which is awesome. Definitely still a lot of coals around. Andrew said he caught in the rainstorm the other day, went 10 for 12. Andrew, was that mostly cohos on the 10 for 12, or did you catch some other fish? Definitely been a lot of weather lately, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. 6:01. We'll give it a couple more minutes here before I really get in the meat and potatoes of everything. Let a few more people join. Nice. Yeah. Washburn Sports says yesterday morning, 5 for 7, 120-pound king, two bows, Laker, and a coho. Good. Yeah, I'm going to go over the Sheboygan report and what I think is kind of just a report for most of the shoreline. Then going to talk a little bit about like what's coming up this week, and also going to do a little kind of I guess recap, so to say, like our Salmon Cup tournament and then the Salmon Cup overall, which was held here last weekend out of Sheboygan. So we got a few things to talk about tonight that I'm excited about. Should be fun, and should be interesting to talk about. So I'll get started again. If you're just joining us, hit that thumbs up button. I see we got around 50 on right now or so. We only got 13 with the thumbs up, so make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Get as many people as you can, to see this channel and see this video. If you have any questions, please let me know in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them. But we'll talk about the current Sheboygan fishing report. So I think I was out like 8 or 9 days in a row until today. Today I took the day off and got some other work done, resting my arm and hand. It's a little sore. But fishing remains to be really, really good out of Sheboygan. The last couple of days, coho action has actually picked back up to be quite good. We did really well on cohos the last couple of days, anywhere between 40 and 70 foot of water. And they're really, they're really catching them anywhere from a couple of miles north to probably 8 or 10 miles south. I did good a couple days in a row up north from like the water filtration plant, which is a couple miles north, all the way to the golf course. And then the last couple of days, I've been fishing kind of right off the power plant, and you can basically go as far south as I've gone, which is Oostburg or Cedar Grove, and have really good fishing. Again, that's in that kind of that 40 to 70 foot of water range. We're still primarily using, or at least I am still primarily using the the Dodger program, using a lot of the double O's in the on the planer boards. So stuff like, I grab a couple here. So stuff like Winx UV, on like a 1, 2, 3 color, any of those. These have been really good. Winx UV, Steely Candy. I'm still running the peanut program for the most part. I've been doing just fine on that. Coho Killer. And then there's a couple of test ones in here that we're testing for next year that I'm super, super excited about. Actually, our hottest Dodger the last 2 days has been one of our new test ones for next year. I guess I can show it to you guys. Somebody's going to copy it, but we're the only ones with gold Dodgers right now. So I guess it is what it is. I know there'll be somebody that'll copy it, and I can tell you already who within the next hour probably. But we're going to do an orange jeans next year. And that in both the double O and the double wide. Looking for the double wide here. Here we go. That and both the double O and the double wide have been my hottest Dodgers for the last couple of trips. So that'll be a new for next year deal. Super, super excited about that. But it's been primarily the double O's, like I said, on the 1 color, 2 color, 3 color type stuff. And then just like we have been since about middle of May now, Doc, yeah, I showed him off. I know you're going to get me in trouble. I knew you'd be on here too. Just like I have been the whole since mid-May, we're still running the double wides on the riggers and on the divers. So on our slide divers, our down riggers, any of those types of setups, we're still running double wides, same kind of colors. Winx UV, Coho Crusher, Steely Candy have really, really been good. There's colored water now here in Sheboygan, or at least there has been the last couple of days. I think we had enough rain and enough wind that there's some green water around. I've been doing better in the green water. Some people have been saying they've been doing better, in the clear water. That's kind of, I think, a day-to-day thing. But the coho fishing remains hot. If you're looking to get out, put some fish in your freezer, just have fun with the kids or the family, you can still go out and get anywhere between 7, 8, and 25 cohos. We had our limit last night. Had a limit on Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday. Today's Thursday. Yeah, Wednesday had a limit. Last night had a limit. Tuesday morning had a limit. So definitely still been pretty good. I know my dad had his 25 yesterday afternoon. So coho fishing remains good. Let's talk about kings for a second. So right before the Salmon Cup last weekend, so I didn't give a report last Thursday, but not this past weekend, the weekend before, excuse me. So it would have been right after my report. The king fishing had been really picking up here in Sheboygan. It had been getting pretty good to the point where we were getting 3-4 adult king salmon bites a trip. And then what happened was last weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we had that major west blow. West, northwest, whatever you want to call it. And that cooled the water off. The water had been 55 down 40 to 50. And last weekend it was 44 down 40 to 50. That shocked the kings. It did two things. It put them in shock, and it also spread them out vertically. Guys were getting random king bites on, double O Dodgers in the top 10 feet of the water column. Guys were getting a random king bite 100 down, 60 down, 40 down. That's never good. We don't want ice cold water this time of year because that makes getting king bites really, really difficult. Now we had a big northeast wind on Monday, and that warmed the water back up. It warmed it back up into the 50s, mid 50s, down 40, 50. My anticipation is the kings are there to be caught now. Just a matter of, kind of going out and trying to find them, relocate them, and get them to bite. I personally haven't been out for them because I've been chasing the cohos. But if I was going to go target them, tomorrow or this weekend here out of Sheboygan or any of the ports probably, I would make some east-west passes if the weather was nice from about 110 out to 180. And that's what I would do. Before the blow, I was getting a decent amount of king bites from 150 to 180. So I would expect they're probably still in that general same area. You just got to find them and catch them. The baits that were working were the ones that I had posted pretty much for my top 6 or whatever it was favorite flashers. But so far this year, to me, it seems like the standout MVP of the season so far is Blue Stud UV. It's been my best flasher. I've talked to a lot of people that it's been their best king flasher, and I'm going to get into in a minute what happened in the tournament. That also one of the tournament boats had a magical catch on the Blue Stud UV. But Blue Stud UV has really been a standout. I've been running the glowing leprechaun behind it. That's been what I've been running. I know the magical fish that was caught this weekend was on an illumination. When I was out a week and a half ago or whatever now, and was having some good king action. Blue Jeans was also good with a glowing lep. Optimus Prime was good with a illumination UV. Jackson's Barracuda was good. Green Jeans had been getting a bite here and there, and then I don't have one in front of me. I don't know why, but Mega Bam. I've heard a lot of people talking about Mega Bam, and I put it out and had a couple bites on it over the couple days of pre-fishing. So Mega Bam was also working. So there is some lake trout around Sheboygan too. Anywhere from about 110 all the way out to 200 foot of water, you can target lake trout. Using cowbells and wobble spins. That bite is going on pretty strong as well. So overall, there's just a really good bite out of Sheboygan right now. You can definitely catch, a nice patch of fish, and you've got some options. You can fish shallow for the cohos. You can fish east and west for kings and lake trout. And I think you'll even get some cohos and steelhead mixed in there. So there's, just a really nice bite. I have to be honest. I have not looked at the weekend's forecast. I heard it's supposed to get hot. So I'm assuming probably not north winds. I know tomorrow light north winds and a little cooler, but I'm assuming not north winds for the weekend. If anybody saw the wind forecast for the weekend, you can put it in the chat below. But I'm hoping it's pretty nice, pretty calm. If it is, I really expect guys to be able to get out and catch a bunch of fish and probably have some opportunities at some really big kings, because I think they're around and they're starting to acclimate to the water again and ready to be caught. So before this blow, and I think now I would expect 40 to 60 down to be the zone for the kings. Probably occasional bite, maybe 70, 80 down, but 40 to 60 down seem to be where the kings were located the most. Things like 200 copper, rigger down 41, rigger down 51, wire diver out 91, wire diver out 101. That type of stuff was taking a lot of our king bites, the ones we were getting. So really exciting that the weather continues to be good. One thing I didn't say before is, if you guys haven't been on the Salmon Candy website today, we're doing a 4-day special sale on this baby, this bad Mama Jamma, the Lenny's special right here. And the reason we did it, I did something I've never done before. This was a Black Friday product, but Lenny had to go. Lenny, by the way, is Captain Lenny Vaughn from Manistee Slipknot Charters. He's a Salmon Candy pro staffer and a personal friend of mine. He had to go and take out a Michigan Outdoors TV show. You can look it up on YouTube, Michigan Outdoors. I think it's a couple of videos ago. And he had to go ahead and take them out in mid-May out of Manistee and boat like 20 kings, like 10 adults, like just a crazy day of fishing and a crazy good day of fishing. And pretty much just about every one of his fish were caught on this flasher. He was running like 4 of them, I think, couple on riggers, couple on wire divers. So of course we got literally hundreds of requests. And by the sales today, I would say, there was a lot of people looking for them. So in today's world, I'm going to be honest with you, it was something I would have never done 3-4 years ago. But in today's world of the copycat world that's out there, and people, basically putting products out sometimes before we can even get them to market, because they hear about them, see about them from one of our guys. There's no reason for us to hold something like this when we have customers that want it. We want to help them out. We don't want them buying it from somebody else. So we did that. So that's on sale through Sunday, just so everybody knows. I did see a couple questions here I want to answer. Scott said, how deep of water are they set up in? Scott, I'm assuming you're talking about the kings. We were catching kings going east and west from 130 to 180. That seemed to be the range. There was a few guys getting a king bite here or there in like 110, but 130 to 180 seemed to be the best for me. That seemed to be the best for me before this blow. So that's where I would relook for them for sure. Washburn Sports says, I'm headed out of Sturgeon Bay around 2 a.m., hoping to get into a few of them. Dan just asked about the temp. The temp is like 54, 55 degrees down 50. So we were getting most of our bites in that temp, like that 40, 50 down range. So in that 54, 55 degrees. But I would definitely have a rod or two below that for sure. I did get a few bites in that 70 to 90 range. Not a lot, but a few. And what I'm seeing on the reports here is that tomorrow and Saturday look good. So I'll probably try to get out myself those days. And, hopefully you guys get out a bunch as well. And that should be a lot of fun. So looking forward to that. So that's kind of our Sheboygan report as a base. Now I want to talk a little bit about the Sheboygan Salmon Cup. So last weekend we had the Sheboygan Salmon Cup here out of Sheboygan, the tournament that I've been a part of or started basically 15 years ago. This was the 15th annual, and we had a great turnout with 47 boats. It was a ton of fun, but there was a really, really special fish caught that I want to talk about for a minute. I think the captain of that crew is actually on here. I saw him before, Tim Barker. Congratulations to Tim. His team, Secret Asian Man, won the amateur division, also won the Sunday's Big Fish, and that big fish was a special fish coming in at 33 and a half pounds. It is, I think, the biggest king that I've ever seen in person. I caught a couple 32-pounders myself. Obviously, I know there's been other bigger ones caught, but I don't know that I've actually laid eyes personally on a king that big before in my lifetime. And congratulations goes to Tim and the Secret Asian Man guys. They caught that king on a blue stud UV salmon candy flasher with an illumination fly. So that was really, really awesome. Another thing I was excited about is I'm pretty sure, I don't want to 100% say this, but I'm pretty sure that all of the 1K a day biggest fish for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the big three from the Salmon Cup all came on salmon candy flashers. That was really exciting. I was happy to hear that. I checked in with everybody. I could be wrong. Saturday, I don't remember 100% for sure. That was Liquor Box that got that. I thought they said they got it on a salmon candy flasher, but if I'm wrong, I apologize. Fridays, I know definitely came on a salmon candy flasher. Sundays did, and the crew from Blackjaw, some young guys that are up and coming stud fishermen, as far as I'm concerned. Those guys caught their big three, all three of them on salmon candy flashers. So that was super exciting. I heard a lot of the same blue stud, green jeans, mega bam. I know it took multiple fish for guys over the weekend, big ones. So that was really, really exciting. Now, results wise for the Salmon Cup, I was blessed enough to have a great weekend and to win my 8th Sheboygan Salmon Cup on board the Rocks and Reels with Captain Scott, myself, my buddy Matt Smith. I call him Kiwani Matt. My daughter Lily, and then Scott's son and his buddy came on Sunday, and they helped us out. And they were definitely a part of giving us a hand on Sunday. On Saturday, I probably witnessed the overall best lake trout fishing I have ever seen for big fish in my life. Saturday, we powered up to Two Rivers area, and we fished lake trout up there. And myself, my cousin Dave from Team Vendetta on the Tierra that I'm on now, and then MVP all fished, lake trout, and all of us came back with 90 plus pounds of fish for 5 fish. It was very exciting. It was a ton of fun. We had 90 pounds, MVP had 93 pounds, and Vendetta had 94 pounds. 94 is probably the biggest 5 lake trout box I have ever seen in a tournament that I'm aware of. And it was really exciting to see that. Obviously, after day one, we were down about 3.5 pounds to my cousin and Team Vendetta, and we were down about 2.5 pounds to MVP. Sunday was a totally different story. We went back to the same area. Wind was blowing northwest, cold front conditions. On Saturday, we boated 51 fish, obviously throwing a lot of them back that were smaller that we didn't need. On Sunday, we caught about 25 fish. We also had 5 big bites in a row. 5 in a row we had, and we boated one of them. So on the way back, I'm not going to lie, I was pretty disappointed. I knew we had about 80 pounds I thought we probably had lost and we're going to take third place was my guess, or maybe second. I knew my cousin. I was in communication with him. I knew they had struggled as well, but didn't know exactly how much weight they had. And when we got back to the scale, one of the things that I was able to teach Lily is if you're a good fisherman, generally speaking, other good fishermen are having similar situations. So I mentioned before, we went 1 for 5 on big fish. Nobody did anything wrong. They just came unbuckled. The day before, we really didn't miss any big bites. That on Sunday, we went 1 for 5. Well, Team MVP said they went 0 for 4 on big fish. Team Vendetta went like 0 for 2 on big fish. They had 2 big rippers. And you can tell on lake trout when you're lake trout fishing if they're big because they'll peel 50 to 100 feet of line out if they're an 18 to 22 pounder or 23 pounder. And we had 5 of those on. They had 2 of those on and didn't get either one of them. So the cold front had them shut down a little bit. They were nipping at it. The smaller ones were still biting. The bigger ones were not. We worked our tail off, pulled 82 pounds of trout, and worked our way into first place, which I was really happy about. Over the years, 15 years of Salmon Cup, that tournament has been a phenomenal tournament. We paid out $17,150 in cash money. Everybody went home with envelopes full of cash that won money. There was a ton of different winners. I mean, I don't even remember, but there had to be 35 envelopes or so total. Probably 20, 25 different people went home with envelopes or more maybe. And it was really exciting. And I was really happy to have it go down the way it did and have a lot of people walking away really excited and really happy. So if you guys haven't fished that tournament before, something to think about for next year. I'm still planning on having it. If I can find somebody else that wants to run it or run it with me, I'd be happy to do that because it's a lot of work. I don't take anything for running the tournament. I like to fish it. I love fishing. I love tournament fishing. So something I started here in Sheboygan 15 years ago and want to keep going. As far as what to expect coming up. As I said, my expectation is here in Sheboygan, I think the overall king fishing is going to improve here in the next couple of days to a week, as long as we don't get any more hard west winds. That's really what we need to avoid at this point. Ice water, as I call it, or cold water, or when you get iced out, that really shuts the fishing down. People think you want west wind. West wind makes it very, very difficult because it just spreads the fish out vertically. We want a thermocline to set up, which I'm guessing is starting to set up. That will congregate the bait, which will congregate the kings. And that's really what we're looking to do here. And if we could do that, I think the king fishing is just going to improve greatly. I think we'll continue to see the chrome and blues and a few chrome and greens really dominate here with some of the new stuff like Mega Bam and, Blue Stud and some of those really, really standing out. So expect that. I did want to mention one thing. Over the years, and I guess I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit, but not really. Over the years, I've developed hundreds and hundreds of patterns of lures, flashers, flies, spoons, and some of the, a lot of 60 or 70% or so of the most popular patterns today used are ones I've probably come up with. And I'm proud of that. But I'll tell you one thing that I'm really proud of is this new wobble spin. This new product by Salmon Candy that is, lake trout bait with interchangeable wings. But the reason I'm so proud of it is its production. When I tested this thing, I knew it was special. I really, really did. And then to come out in the first tournament that I fish of the year, to win that tournament against some really good fishermen, some really good lake trout fishermen who were also using wobble spins, but I think also had their favorite spinning glows mixed in, which I can't blame them. But to dig brand new wobble spins out of the package, tie them onto our cowbells, like a Salmon Candy Mountain Dew cowbell here this was the hottest cowbell for the Vendetta boat, to tie these on brand new and fish the weekend and catch the catches we caught and had the success we had. I'm super proud of this product. It's a product that I helped, a product that I designed and worked with a couple of our other employees for over a year on, tested it on the fish stick boat, tested it on this boat, and was very happy with it. And it came to production, and we're excited about it. Somebody just asked if Klein's and Two River has those. They do not yet. So generally speaking, hang on one second. Generally speaking, with new product, we don't always take that to the dealers right away because we aren't sure on the volume of sales, and we don't want them to make pegs for stuff and be sitting out of it. Right now, they are only available on the Salmon Candy website, but that definitely could change shortly. If some of the dealers wanted them, we could potentially do that. We'd have to check inventory and see. Um, while we're on that, there is a couple questions coming in that I'm going to answer, but I do want to say one more thing about, Scott mentioned Kleins. We now have a lot of dealers. I don't always talk about this a lot because it's hard for me to remember them all. I don't want to miss anybody and I don't want to be unfair. But remember that Salmon Candy does have our website, salmoncandyfishing.com, and we appreciate all the sales on there. But if you're looking for stuff locally, quickly, we do have a lot of dealers now. I think we're up to 15 or 16. We have them on Lake Ontario. We have them on, which is out there is Sunny's Fishing Center. We have, I believe, one on Lake Huron, maybe two. I want to say Alpena, maybe on Lake Huron. We have one there. We have one or two on Lake Superior, including like Marine General. We have, a bunch here on Lake Michigan, anywhere from Lake Michigan Angler down in Winthrop Harbor. In Kenosha, we got Fish Tech. Coming up to Shoreline in Milwaukee, we got R&R. Then we've got, just new in the last week or so, we got Doc's Custom here in Sheboygan. Doc, who does our painting for us, has a nice little store inside of his garage there. He's starting to put Salmon Candy stuff in. I'm also working with another local place to maybe have some more stuff in Sheboygan here. Then Kleins has it in Two Rivers. They have a really nice selection at Kleins. So if you're anywhere near that Two Rivers area, they have one of the better selections, I would say. I mean, all the ones I just mentioned have a really nice selection, but Kleins has, a really nice selection there. I've been happy with those guys. I've put a lot of stuff in. Then new this year is Yachtworks and Kiwani. They've got a little bit smaller selection right now, but I know they're looking to add to it as sales get going here and they sell some of the stuff they got. And then Algoma Hardware, as Washburn Sports just mentioned. Kathy up there, who's been around for a million years. I've known her I was 16 years old. I went to my first fishing trade show with Kathy and Jerry. So that's 25 years ago. So I've known them for a long time. They're great people. They've got a big selection. Then up in Marinette, A&K. A&K has been doing a great job promoting products that they have. I don't see them talk about Salmon Candy a lot, but I know they sell a lot of it. So probably, hopefully, it's selling itself for them. That would be the ideal thing. So I know they just put another order to refill some things. I know we added a smaller shop up in Bailey's Harbor, and so on and so forth. So we've got a bunch of support around the Great Lakes, and we really, really appreciate it. And I just wanted to mention that for a second because it's important to me that everybody knows you can go on the website and buy everything, and we appreciate that. But also, I've gone into Kleins and bought some stuff. I've gone into R&R and bought some stuff like Salmon Candy stuff because there was just no way for me to get it either from the warehouse or have it made from Doc or whatever in a day or two. I needed it right away, so I've grabbed a couple things myself. But I appreciate all the support from dealers, appreciate all the support from the fishermen. Scott K said, can you describe how you run them, assuming bouncing bottom? Yeah, Scott, we're running them bouncing bottom. So there's two types of lake trout fishing that I do. Let's talk about that for a second. Not long, but a little bit. So I do what I call, if I'm going to target lake trout, when I do that, that's usually a 6-rod spread. It's 2 downriggers on the bottom with a cowbell setup, something similar to this, like the Salmon Candy Mountain Dew, or the big metal cowbells, with a wobble spin somewhere between 24 and 30 inches behind it. And I run those like 10 to 15 feet behind the downrigger ball, and you rhythmically bounce the bottom if you can, without getting slime, with your downrigger ball. Then I run 2-wire divers on a 4 setting, which is edge of the weight, with an old school Dodger on it and a wobble spin. And then I run 2 coppers, one on each side on a planer board, that are close to the bottom, with a wobble spin on them. That's sort of my 6-rod spread if you're going to target lake trout specifically. And that's usually, if we're going to do that, we do that in anywhere between 60 and 120 foot of water. Now, what I do a lot more of all year round, and I did last Friday for the ladies and kids tournament, which we took second. Congratulations to MVP. They 3-peated on the ladies. We went in at 8:30. It was getting to be Guy asked a question. Okay. It was getting to be a little bit bumpy on Friday, but we were working that 150 to 180, like I mentioned before, looking for kings. We did catch a nice king on a blue stud on Lily's side right away in the morning. And then we were just using the two downriggers with cowbells on the bottom in that 150 to 180 range. And we boated some really nice lake trout to round out a limit. We had 65 pounds by by 7:30. And that was great. That was part of my program. I was considering potentially doing that program come the weekend, but ended up deciding to go more of the conservative route because I was just nervous about not getting enough king bites, which it ended up over the weekend that most of the boats struggled to try to target kings. So if I was going to go fishing out here, tomorrow morning, and I was going to go out in that 110 to 200, and I was going to kind of try to target kings, I personally would probably have a cowbell or two on the bottom just to get some lake trout as well to add some more action. To my deal. Guy just asked, Darren Bruss said he can't log in, but he said, I can't get logged into YouTube on my phone, so comment on your live, but we are coming out tomorrow. Curious if you would set up on Kings right away or cohos. Honestly, Darren, it would just depend on what I'm trying to do. Am I trying to catch a limit or am I trying to catch, kings? Are you here for all weekend? Whatever that case may be, but I don't think you would have any issue going out to that 110 to 200 for an hour or two, try to get a big king or two, and then you could come back into that 40 to 60 and you'll get some cohos. You may miss some action in there early. Some of their boats, might get 4, 5, 6, 8 fish by the time you get back in there. But if you're a king guy and you really want to try to catch a king, that's what I would probably do. Set up on the kings right away at 4:30 or something like that for an hour and a half. Brent says, I got 4 big kings out of port on Sunday. Green jeans was my king. Green jeans down 60. Great job, Brent. That sounds awesome. Glad to hear that. So I expect the fishing to continue to be good as long as we don't see any crazy winds that really cool the water off. And I think the king fishing is going to just progressively get better here now over the next couple of weeks. Wanted to mention a couple other things. There are some derbies coming up and some tournaments coming up that you might want to be interested in. Starting on Saturday is the Ultimate Salmon Derby. A friend of mine is putting that on, and I think they've got a really nice first year going with some different big prizes and things like that. There's several different places where you can weigh your fish. Almost every port, I think, has a place to weigh your fish. Klein's Hardware in Two Rivers is a location. So there's that derby starting on the 15th of June, and I think it runs through August something. I apologize, I don't know that for sure, but that's like a long-term derby. Then obviously we're only 3 weeks out now or so from Salmonorama and the KD tournaments coming. So as those approach, please remember, I expect the water to continue to warm if we don't get any crazy winds, and things like fish blades. Vegan rigs are going to start to play a role. If I go out on Saturday, I'm probably going to put a couple of those out, try to chase some kings with vegan rigs and 10-inch fish blades, because that's been my big one. Philip says, any chance of Glow Frog Bam being run as a special? It's possible. Anything's possible, Philip. We might think about it. I haven't had anybody else request that one, but that one is pretty new, obviously. So it is possible that we may do that again. Could be. So kind of the round everything up, we had a great Salmon Cup. We have great fishing on the Wisconsin side right now. Sounds like the Michigan fishing is still pretty tough. It sounds like a lot of lake trout over there right now. They're not catching a ton of kings. We have a lot of the silverfish now. Get out there and get on them while you can, because it will become a time here at some point in the near future, whether that's in July or early August, where those guys will get those fish back. And we will then be short on silverfish. Washburn Sports says Mike got lost in the comments, but again, curious what your thoughts will be the next week fishing overnights with full moon. So I know a lot of guys that like the full moon fishing, and they like to do it at night, and I think it definitely has the potential to be really, really good for kings, in the dark for during that full moon. What I have seen is that generally for the full moon, right away first light is good, and then that dies immediately. And then again, midday for the kings, that 10, 11, noon, 1, that's usually really good for some of those big kings. So I know when that full moon comes and there's derbies going on, I usually try to stay out during the full moon until noon or 1 to get into that midday bite, that second round of bites. So that's kind of how I feel. Chris Jones says, do you think things are going sooner than normal? Yeah, I think we're a little early still. I think things are a little early. Coho size is fantastic. They're really, really big. So I think that is early for sure. They look like August cohos to me. The water temps are warm even for this time of year still. I mean, they were 50s a week and a half ago. They're back to 50s now, but that's even warm for this time of year. So I do think it will be good. Landon says, how do you think fishing will be the end of June out of Port Washington? If we don't get any real cold wind, any wind, west wind that cools it off, I think fishing Sheboygan, Port, Two Rivers, Manitowoc, Kewaunee, Algoma, Milwaukee will all remain good. The cohos might start to spread out a little bit, but I think the kingfishing will improve. The steelhead will probably start to set up, and the lake trout will be there and hopefully should be there all summer long. So they're there for the taking on any given day. So I appreciate everybody coming in. We're up to 90 people. We had a really steady night tonight. I really genuinely appreciate that. I hope I gave you guys a bunch of information. If you have any last questions, now would be the time. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this week's weekly report up. I am planning on getting out tomorrow and Saturday, so I'm likely going to do a couple of videos. I know I haven't done a video in a little bit, but I'd like to get some videos done and get some things out there for videos. Scott K says, when do you think spoons will start to turn? Scott, I think the spoon bite's going to start to turn as soon as that night bite happens. We got the full moon coming. Guys love those spoons early in the morning, late in the evening type of stuff for sure. Doc says, what was the best part of the Salmon Cup? I would say 3 things for me. Number 1, probably first and foremost, one of my good buddies. I say this all the time, jokingly, but not jokingly. I don't have a lot of friends. I have a lot of acquaintances, but I don't have a lot of friends in life. I have maybe 3 or 4 friends. That's about it. And one of my good friends, Jackson Penny, a guy named Jackson's Barracuda after, he got engaged on Doc's boat day 1 of the tournament with a Marry Me flasher that Doc painted up that he gave to his now fiance, his girlfriend. And I was super excited for him. It was a super cool thing to have happen during the tournament, obviously, and very awesome way to ask someone to marry you. That was one. The second one was obviously, not gonna lie, winning my 8th cup was good. Sometimes you need a little reminder that you still got it. I have to admit, because I'm an honest guy when it comes to this kind of stuff, Devin beat me from MVP the last couple of years in my home port, doing what I do. Basically, I'm not going to speak 100% for him because I've never fished lake trout with him, but from what I can gather, doing my program, the program that I developed coming over from Michigan, the divers bouncing on the bottom, the riggers on the bottom with cowbells, coppers, things like that. He beat me with my own game. It was nice to get that W just to kind of remind me that, hey, you still got it. You're not too old yet. You're not washed up yet. You still got it. You still know what you're doing. And in particular, in the fashion that it came. To be down, have it be a tough bite on day 2 and a grind, and us win it and come back and grind out the biggest catch of the day. That was really exciting. Second part of that is my buddy Scott. Scott's a great friend of mine. He is one of my friends. He's been really good to me and been a good friend over the course of the last several years. Scott's never won a tournament before, at least not a salmon tournament. I shouldn't say for sure. He muskie tournamented fish. He might have won some of them, but he never won a salmon tournament. It was really cool to see and have him, us be together on the boat, his boat, Rocks and Reels, our team win that tournament. I think that kind of just, got us over that hump together. And now look out, we could be dangerous. Now that we got that confidence. Lily was aboard. I think this is the 5th Salmon Cup I've won with Lily. So she's been on for a bunch of them. Somebody asked who was more excited in winning the cup, you or Lily. I would say I was more excited. Lily's even keel. That's one thing I'll give her. Lily doesn't get too wound up about anything. Other than she gives me a lot of crap because she caught a lot more fish last weekend than I did. Her side caught a lot more than my side did, by far. And I'm proud of her for that. I'm telling you guys right now, Lily is a hell of a fisherman. I mean, that kid is 15 years old. She can run the entire back deck. She can grab the rod. She can reel them in. She can net the fish. She can hand them off. She can pick her own baits. I mean, she is a stick and a legit one. She's going to be really, really good someday. And I'm proud of her. She's a great fisherman. She listens to her grandpa. She fishes a lot like him. She listens to me sometimes. But her and I just fish really, really well together. So that was fun. And then the third thing was probably the excitement around the tournament and that 33.5 pound king. You know, having 47 boats, considering the forecast, was awesome. That's the second biggest tournament, I believe, on this side of the lake. Maybe the Blue Door will get 50 this year. I don't know. That's coming up in a couple weeks. I plan to fish that. And maybe if it does, then we'll be the third biggest. But Brew City gets around 100. I think we had 50 something last year. We had 47 this year. I was really happy with that, considering, again, early in the week, the forecast looked horrible. 30-mile-an-hour winds for 3 days in a row. I know there was people that messaged me that said they just couldn't make plans because the weather was too iffy. I really appreciate all the people that did make plans and fish. It was awesome. And that's kind of why you can't really dictate the weather too much, because you just never do know. But all three of those things were really exciting. As we wrap this up here, I just want to thank everybody for coming. I'll be back with another live on Thursday. I might even do an on the water fishing report, and I might talk about a bunch of different different things going on, do some different videos, but we got those coming here. Appreciate it. Good luck and good fishing if you get out.
I'm sweaty profusely.